We have the one and only Dr. Davia again coming back, gracing the channel with her presence to give us a 6-month reflection on Thailand. I know that a few of you have requested and wanted to hear from Dr. Davia again, so I am granting you a wish in 2026 with us talking to Dr. Davia about how things are going within Thailand. We're really excited to have this conversation and so happy that you all are tuning in to watch this replay. So, Dr. Davia, we're happy that you're here. I hope that you are having a wonderful time in Thailand. Again, want to wish you congratulations for being there for 6 months. I'm sure you have learned so much. I'm sure you have seen so much. Could you talk to me a little bit about your job and what you've learned just from the job and working in Thailand for 6 months? It could be whatever you're interested in telling us about that.
Sure. Well, one, thank you for having me back. I can't believe 6 months has gone by. It has really felt like just yesterday. I know that sounds like a cliche, but it really doesn't feel like 6 months has gone by that fast. It has been a whirlwind. Um, I feel like my job was waiting for me when I got there. It was quite busy, and um, they were happy to have someone who is knowledgeable and who really understands educators and leadership. And they were very, very much like, okay, Davia, so can you tell us how to do this? Or can you engage in this way? And so I was a little, I think, I won't say overwhelmed, but I was a little bit like, wait, what? New country, new space, new curriculum, new people, everything was new. And I think I was in the space of I'm going to watch and learn. And they were in the space of we need your voice. So I need you to come on and tell us what you need us to do. And so it was interesting. I was not expecting to hit the ground. I was being onboarded and also just doing the work at the same time. So I feel like I could use another 6 months of onboarding, but it's not happening. So I am learning on the job. I do manage 5 schools. So I think in the U.S. you would see me as a superintendent. My title is regional learning director, but I think what it equates to is a superintendent. These 5 schools are all international schools. They're all very different. Um, 3 of them are in Bangkok, 2 of them are in Vietnam, and the leaders of those schools have to really think about how they are growing their enrollment and also offering the best professional development to their staff, and having a presence with their families, pretty much what every school leader would have to do. And my job is to support them in doing their job better. I can be a sounding board, I can be a thought partner, I can come in and help them do learning walks, which is us looking at how the learners in the space are really experiencing the teaching. Usually in the US, you focus on the teacher. And what my organization tries to do is say, let's look at the learner's experience. And if the learner is getting the best experience, then the teaching is being effective. But if the learner is saying to you, I don't know what's going on, they're kind of sitting back, they're a little lost, then that the teacher is not being as effective as they think they are. And so it's been interesting to walk into classrooms. The kids look at me and they're like, are you from America? And they love, love Black culture. I can tell. They have me come and sit and they're like, where are you from? Oh, do you listen to this? They always ask, do you listen to this music? What's your favorite food now that you're here? So the best part is honestly being in the schools. Um, the paperwork is paperwork, right? You visit the school, you do a log, all of that. You get on calls, you try to be more strategic. But I think what I've learned from all of that is if you are a solid educator and you know your craft, it is something that good teaching is good teaching no matter where you are. So good leadership is good leadership no matter where you are. And so I've been thinking about how to write that story because I think people assume, oh, well, it's a third world country. I don't know what people assume, but these schools are so posh on some level, because these are families who are middle class and upper middle class who are working full time, and they are paying to send their schools to international schools. So the experiences that these kids have, they do music, they do drama lessons, they do art, they have swimming pools. Everyone learns how to swim here, which I think is fantastic. They are full swimming pools. Everyone gets to do sports if they choose to. Kids love basketball, they love soccer, they're doing what kids do. And so it's great. You don't have to think, I think that sometimes people think, well, how did you just go and pick up and work in a space? But it's education. And right, we've all, if you studied and you know anything about child development or adolescent development or adult development, it all comes into play. It's just in a different cultural context. So it's been it's been good. And sometimes I don't, I miss something that's going on because of the cultural um, elements in the space. And so I asked my colleagues about it. I work with amazing bunch of Thai women and British women and men, and we bring all of our skill sets together and talk. And when I have a question, I ask. That's the other thing. You have to open your mouth and ask. You can't just sit thinking and going, oh, I think it's this. All of that in your mind of what you think is happening because of your own centering of an experience is not always happening, right? So leaving yourself out and saying, let me not read this wrong. Let me just ask some questions about how certain things are done or why someone might respond to me in this way. Um, Educators are beloved in Southeast Asia. When I get to a campus, it is like, Dr. D is here. They run to the car, they get my bags, would you like some tea and come sit here? And are you going to be with us all day? It's like, you're a little bit like a superstar. It's a little bit strange in how they treat me. Yes, I do understand who I am when I come on the campus. So there is this like, okay, Dr. D is coming. So I'm like, please just play school the way you normally play school. And I'm just going to fit in where I can, which is, I think, a hard concept for them. There's a lot of reverence for educators and a lot of reverence for folks who are there to support and help. And I get well cared for, to be quite honest. Yeah, it's been good.
This is wonderful. Just the intro in which you are able to talk about all of the things, literally, like how you mentioned jumping in and just starting off and not necessarily getting all the time you needed to get adjusted, but you have made that happen and you have learned so much and you've been so incredible in terms of
Yeah.
what you've been doing. What would you say is like the best part of working in the school and interacting with the students? What has been something that's like just really gotten you up every single day when you were doing your work?
I think the best part is that kids are curious about everything. The little kids, they look at me and, they want to touch you, but they don't say anything. They just kind of look, or they'll sit and they like snuggle. It's so funny. They get really close to you and they just kind of sit. They might just say, hi, and they just kind of like, they're just so genuinely curious about probably about Black skin, probably about Black culture, probably about Americans, but they don't say anything. They're not. It's not in a hurtful way. I love that. I love to see their curiosity, and I love when I'm with the middle schoolers and they have like real questions about, like what's going on in America. They were like, we were watching the news, and they hit you with so you're from where? I was like, oh, here we go. From sometimes I don't know what to. I was like, I'm from New York. So I can just say, can I say from New York? And then that's enough. And then they'll go, so, we were studying. One group of kids were like, we were studying the Cold War, and it seems as though a lot of what's happening feels very much like the Cold War. What do you think? I was like, let me get up out of here. What do I think? I was like, well, I haven't thought about it like that. So it depends on the classroom I go in, how comfortable they are in their own learning and studying. And they really want to know, like, what is your adult opinion about what the state of America or the state of the world? They're very, I'm going to say, world conscious. They're very attuned to not just what's happening in Thailand, but what's happening in Cambodia, what's happening in Venezuela, what's happening in the United Kingdom. A lot of them are learning English curriculum because it's a UK company, and so many of the schools are doing Cambridge curriculum, and so they have a lot of opinions about the state of the United Kingdom, and so I don't have that perspective, to be quite honest. When you're in America, you have a very small American perspective, and we are the world. We are not the world. We are far from the world. We are in the world with everybody else, and so other folks know that. So my excitement, or the best part about the kids and going to schools, is the curiosity that they have, the questions that they pose, the conversations that I get to have with them, and also with the educators. Sometimes my job is to just sit with them and just ask some hard questions, about if they think they're doing their best with the kids that are sitting in front of them. And so really talking about what high quality impact lessons might look like. How do you know it's high quality? And really having people lean into their work and who they are as an educator. It is a profession. It is not, I'm showing up to get my check. There are people, I'm sure, who dial it in. I have not met them here, not yet. And I hope I don't meet them, to be quite honest. So being at school just allows me to be my best self, because it's kids, it's teachers, and it's leaders. And I know that. I know that well. So when I'm feeling like I don't know what I'm doing, when I'm at a school, I'm like, I know exactly what I'm doing here. Yeah, it helps to reassure me that, yeah, I made a good decision by jumping on. It's a lot of work. And sometimes I go, damn, I'm in my mind at the end of my career, but not here. I'm at the beginning of my career. For sure. For sure. I don't know if that makes sense, but
It
knowing where
does.
you are in your educational journey, right? And saying, oh, I feel like I'm 3 to 4 years from retirement. And when I'm in those schools, you're like, I'm just starting. When you're around those kids, they keep you very young and make you think, you know?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I love the honesty you've talked about in terms of their curiosity around Black culture. I thought it was funny when you mentioned how they want to sit close to you or don't know what to say. Do you find when you have conversations with students, there is a difference in their mind between being American and being Black American? Or are there conversations about just Black American US culture in general?
I don't think they separate the
Okay.
two. I think you're Black American. And I think, in all honesty, for them, it's probably about um, the music scene, the artist that they watch and follow. Everywhere you go in Thailand, you will hear Western music, period. You will hear, and when I say Western, you will hear Black music, period.
Wow.
You'll hear 80s, you'll hear disco, you'll hear like what's happening right now. You'll hear you're shocked. You're in the mall and you're like, is that Chance? Is that am I hearing Tribe Called Quest? Like, what's going on? Like, you're just walking in the mall and you're like, is somebody punking me? Like, it is always like, is that Cleo Soul? Like, even something new, and you're like, okay, what's going on? So I think the kids are curious about the artists that they follow, curious about what they see. I think they do understand that that is a persona, right? That I do think some of them realize that these are professionals who are performing in front of you, and so That might not be what your day to day is like. So I think that's where the curiosity is. They follow, they're on TikTok and YouTube and IG like the rest of them. So they see what they see, they follow what they follow. Um, so I think, they don't ask me a lot other than like, where do I live? And they ask me like surface things about culture, um, music, and what do you listen to? And do you know this artist? And I'm like, yeah, I know that artist. Or do you like this? And so I think they're trying to make sense of it all. But I don't know if they see the the experience that a Black American has different from any other American. I don't think they see that.
That is really helpful and very truthful because I have definitely noticed that it might just be this label of like being American, but not necessarily recognizing that there could be a hierarchy that has been created surrounding certain types of Americans and causing us to have very different experiences
Yes,
depending on intersecting identities. So thank you for that. That
absolutely.
was a question I had. And how do you really handle the questions they have asked you about like US history and
Girl,
Cold War? Yeah, like I
girl,
know that there's a lot because you talked about this world consciousness. You were talking about Venezuela. Like if they're talking about all of the things that are happening, how do you really respond to those things?
I'm really careful because I they're looking at me and I say to them, I can't speak for the world, right? I always start with I can't speak for. I can tell you my little opinion, which is just as important as your opinion about something. Um, and sometimes I ask more questions, right? I use my teacher techniques. I said, what have you heard? And what are you noticing? And what's making you uncomfortable? And I do that just so I can get underneath the question. And sometimes they'll say things like, well, are we going to be able to visit America? I go, oh, you're worried about your family being able to. And I said, it's a hard thing, So sometimes I try to answer as honestly as I can. I also say to them, my family still lives in America, and I get worried too about the state of some of the things that I see. Um, and I don't know where it's gonna all wind up. I do think that we have a big enough world to potentially put some pressure on some of the actions. That's why we have the United Nations. That's why we have other entities. But I don't know what the checks and balances are going to be, right? And so I leave it at that. No one ever presses more, but it does make me walk away and go, either one, I need to be listening to the news in a more broader way because I don't know what they're listening to. When I watch the Thai TV, I can't make sense of anything because it's in Thai, right? So I watch CNN a little bit and I'll watch this a little bit and I'm like, what's going on? So I don't know what they see, but they're definitely aware, right? They could be seeing it all on TikTok too. I didn't realize how much news is on TikTok because I'm not on TikTok. And I know the kids get a bite size of things. And sometimes that's not the full story, right? So I try to answer as honestly as I can. I try not to be scary because it's already scary. And I just try to get underneath their question to see what is it that they're worried about? What is it that they're really concerned with? Um, but they're concerned about the world. They're concerned about the health of the world. How are they going to be able to navigate in their young lives? And I think that's something I didn't realize would come up even. Yeah.
Dr. Davia, I think that that is perfect. Like you said, not trying to respond for the entire world because obviously that we cannot.
Right.
And like getting under what is really the question that the person wants to know. I think that
Yeah.
you're doing a great job, and this is one thing that we have to be aware of when we travel is like we become cultural ambassadors whether we want
Yes.
to be or not. And like you said, people are consuming news, and so It's nice to have someone like you that is trying to answer the question or even wants to be better and read more news or, also know what's going on. And like you said, you also have concerns, as a lot of us do, that are
Yeah,
also from the space. So that makes sense.
yeah.
Okay, we will make it a lot easier now. Appreciate you for that because there just is a lot going on in the world. So just want to recognize that. Have you been able to make friends or community in Thailand? And have you specifically made any Black friends? And if so, how were you able to build community?
Oh my gosh. That is the thing that can keep me going. I wish there's some days I wish I wasn't working and I was doing my like online life, or I was a digital nomad, because these people are out in these streets. Okay. There is a very, I would say large, about 100 or so, maybe more, um, uh, folks of color. Some are Black American, some are Black from the United Kingdom, some are African. They're just melanated, I'll say that. And there are activities that are scheduled weekly by this organization called Adventures While Black. I'll give them a shout out for sure. And even if you are just visiting and passing through, you can register for an event that they have. And it's wonderful. There are R&B brunches. There are first Sunday brunches of the month. There's yacht parties. There are, um, what did they do? They just did a yacht party. There's karaoke night. There are all kinds of activities, again, once a week. And I go to probably once a month to something. And I have a handful of friends that I've met from that group. They check on me. They send me a text. They know that I travel for work. So they say things like, "Are you here? Do you want to go to dinner?" And so I tend to have someone to go to dinner with, which is nice. Um, I also love that I've met through, and I wasn't in a WhatsApp group, but I was invited to a WhatsApp group because I had someone staying at my home who was in all the groups. And she said, "Girl, you're not in this group." And so there's a mature women of Bangkok. Yes, the mature women are over 50. And they get together and do little activities, a little less out in the streets as some of the other groups are doing. They're not going to the hookah bar. They're not doing that. But they are getting together and having conversations and going to a jazz club and things like that. So I got invited to that WhatsApp group. So now I have two little groups. And then I have some Thai friends who are, mostly from my job, but they, check on me. If I need something, they go, they help me out. And I'm like, "Oh, I need you to come with me I wanted to purchase something." And like anybody else, you better bring somebody who's Thai with you so that you understand what's happening. And, everything is right. So I do have some Thai friends, and it's nice to have them because they have also, I've invited them to some of the Adventure Wild Black experiences. And so they've been like, "Wow, there's a whole group of Black folks here." They don't know because they only see us, on the train one at a time or two at a time. And so they come, and I've had a girlfriend come with me to a soul food restaurant, which is also interesting because there are folks who are here establishing businesses, and working to be a part of the culture, but also to bring our culture um, to Thailand. So it's nice. It's nice to commingle and co-mix. That's kind of who I am. So it's been a good time. I feel fortunate that there's a community here that I can plug into. And if you want to get all into it, you can. And if you just want to tap in a little bit, yeah. But through WhatsApp groups, through Facebook communities, and things like that, I think people can find their way. And you can find many groups. There's a Chiang Mai group, so not just in Bangkok, Black in Chiang Mai. They do creative writing. There's a travelers group. There's uh, herbal, like interested in herbal medicine group. Like there's so many groups that you could be a part of if you have the time. Again, I don't have a lot of time, so I do what I can do, and I'm not alone when I am able to get out, which is nice.
I'm so happy to hear that. You love to see that you got community and there's
Yes.
a whole range of activities that you can do from something like slow, low key to
Yep.
something high key on the yacht, doing all this.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
amazing.
And you know what? The one thing I will say is some of the experiences that you probably could not afford to do in the States are much more accessible because the price cost, the pricing is so much more reasonable. So even a little yacht tour might be $50, and you spend out 4 hours and you get a meal. That's not gonna happen, like a private yacht tour with music and food for $50. Mm-mm. And so it's those kinds of experiences, little weekends, little overnight things for like $100 that would cost us so much money. Yeah. So you can access things that you might not normally be able to at home because of the price point is just so reasonable. I don't want to say cheap because I don't want people to think, oh, everything's so cheap, because it's not. Because you can absolutely ball out here. You could be living way above your means if you choose to,
Wow.
um, or you could, just enjoy things.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, well, with that, what would you say about like the exchange rate? And did you have to get like a bank account in Thailand? The money. What's going
The
on?
money, the money. What's going on with the money? So there are many ways to do this. Because I am working, I am able to have a work permit. I have a particular visa that allows me to be a non immigrant resident, so to speak. And so, with that, I am able to have a bank account. There used to be a time when, if you could show you had a certain amount of money, you could open up a bank account. But of course, people were scamming and not doing the right thing. And so the government shut that down. So, unless you have a work permit, you cannot open a bank account, right? So I am able to have funds in my Thai bank, which is Bangkok Bank, and they use QR codes pretty much for everything. If you don't have a bank account, you can use your Visa or Mastercard. That's not a problem. They also have these apps where you can put money onto the app and then scan like a local. So they have apps that will help you. A lot of people use Wise. They put funding in their Wise and then they move their Wise over to that Thai scan card and then use that. All of the vendors you'll see use a scan. You can use cash. They use the Thai bot. Right now, the Thai bot is pretty strong. It used to be, well, when I first got here, it was like you got 33, it was almost like 33 to 1. Now it's about 31 to 1. Um, the bot is strong right now. And so it's still reasonable. Like I bought it. I was negotiating a dress yesterday, which is ridiculous. It was 390 baht, which is basically $12. And I was like, why am I negotiating for $12? Like, it's $12, Davia. Like cut it out. And it's something you just start to think in baht. And so you're like, well, that's kind of pricey for that because you could get it for cheaper. And you're like, you know what? It's already cheap. It really is already so cheap for a whole dress. Just pay the 12, $13 and call it a day. So, sometimes you forget. Um, American Express is not really used. It's tough because if you that's the only credit card you have, there's not a lot of places, very high end places, and they charge a lot, like a high fee. So forget about that. Um, and if you could get yourself like a Fidelity or one of those cards, I think it would be much better because they have less fees or no fees, and it'll help you. But for me, I have found the other thing that I did is I brought like a few $100 crisp $100 bills, so that when I travel to like Vietnam or places like that, I just change $100 bill and get whatever the money is in the neighboring country. They have to be like crisp. They have to, like, you got to go to the bank. They can't have a nick in it because then they say, oh no, it's not worth the exact amount that you want to change it for. They play a little game. But that has helped me when I travel to like Malaysia and into Vietnam. I just use that, and that money goes. You could have $100 for like a whole week. I know that sounds crazy in Vietnam, but you're not spending a lot on food. You're not spending a lot on any of that, and then you just use your credit card for housing, things like that. Yeah.
Very helpful, very helpful. Like,
So
it's almost like we prompted you because you just had all of the answers about that, and that is key to know, especially when we're going abroad. We gotta
yeah.
know what it is with the money, so that's helpful. So another thing I wanted to know, and you had mentioned this earlier, in our time together, is some of the dishes that you've tried. Tell us about some of the food, things that you like, things that you don't like, things you would recommend. What
Man,
are those Thai dishes doing?
listen, if you're coming to Thailand, actually, wherever you go, you have to just try some food. You cannot be a picky eater. I would say you have to push yourself and just try a thing, whatever the thing is. And you're like, oh, what's that? I always watch where the lines queue at the little vendors, because wherever there's a long queue of Thai people, you know that food is good, period. Wherever the locals go, even if you're not sure what it is, you have to go over and be like, chicken. I'm always like chicken because they always have pork. Everything is, there's a lot of pork base. So I'm not a pork based eater. I like my veggies and I like my chicken and shrimp and all that. Um, so my favorite food is pad thai. That's so common because that's the food that we are exposed to the most, I think, in the US. It's so different here. It's so complex with flavor, just very different. And every place makes it just slightly different. So there's a sweet and sour to it. There's a peanut base to it if you want that. It really depends. So I love pad thai. I think the thing that surprises people, if you ask for shrimp, you usually get the whole shrimp. The head is on. So when people are like, "What's that?" Yeah, that's what the shrimp looks like. It has the whole head. So if you're not used to the whole head of anything, same thing with fish. When you ask for fish, you get a whole fish. You don't get the you don't get it in fillet. You get it as it comes out the water. That's how you get it. Okay? It's coated, it's fried, it's grilled, and it's damn good. So I love everything. I'm trying to keep it easy here, but I love. They have tons of soups. They have green curry soups. They have coconut based soups. They have a red curry base, and it's not like an Indian curry. It's a different kind of curry, which is interesting because you're expecting it to taste like Indian food, and it doesn't. It has its own flavor. I like tom yum soup. It's also like a coconut base, very warming, spices. Um, I've now realized that you can eat whatever you want at any time of the day. There is no breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I have fried chicken for breakfast a lot, a lot of days. There is a little vendor downstairs outside of my condo. He makes fried chicken like your mama makes it, like your auntie makes it. It is so good. It is so flavorful. And so I get a piece of fried chicken, a green matcha tea, and a banana. And that is breakfast. And that is that. And I'm fine with that. And I will hurry up downstairs and make sure I get that before he is out of thighs or out of whatever. Um, yeah, the food is so fresh that when I got home over the holiday, I was I was sick. I could not eat the food at home. My stomach was like, I rebuke all of this. Whatever is in our, and we know what's in it because they don't put food in the refrigerator to sit for a week and then you're going to go cook it. Mm-mm. You buy your food, you eat your food. You buy your fruit, you eat your fruit. So there's no preservatives, there's no spraying of it, there's none of that. And so it took me about 2 weeks for my stomach to settle at home. I was like, I cannot eat. My stomach is killing me. Everything that I ate at home hurt my stomach. Everything. And I was like, this don't make no sense. This is it's a little bit sad because you don't realize it. Um, the food is fresh and it's plentiful. Everything is either rice based or noodle based. There's all kinds of noodles. There's rice noodles, egg noodles. If you're vegan, you can find food. If you're a vegetarian, you can find food, but you do have to articulate that you don't want meat or you don't want pork. And you have to just say that. You say it out loud. The fruit, I would say the most amazing fruit I've had has been here. The mangoes are so fresh. I have dragon fruit every day, watermelon every day. You can be a straight foodie here. You could just eat. You could just eat and not even worry about it. I had a gluten intolerance at home. I don't really have anything that has gluten in it here because the noodles are rice based. So I don't have to worry about it being wheat based. There's not a lot of bread. You can get bread, but that's not something I get. And so they're not just adding gluten to things. So I don't find that I have any issue with any of the noodles at all, which is it's kind of amazing actually. And you can tell immediately that the food is fresher. Yeah. Yeah. From the farm to the table, for real, for real.
I love that for you and the fact that you actually get the experience of tasting and eating fresh food. Do you
Yeah.
think that this will change the food that you eat when you have to return to the US or the way that you approach food?
Yeah. I definitely, I mean, I don't know how much salad can one eat. But that has been, that's my go-to at home because I can just, it's more salad, it's more fruit, it's less meat, which is not a bad thing. Um, yeah, and not as much. There's a lot of small plates here. Like they just eat small plates. And I guess it's small plates because we get large plates of everything. So maybe it's just the regular sample size. So you can have a lot of little things. But I do find that when I'm home, I am wondering and thinking about, should I have this? Like if I'm going to have some beef, I'm going to the butcher to get it. If I'm not just going to have a burger somewhere, I'm not going to do that. Like there's just certain things. Yeah, you just have to think about what you're eating in general. And I'm already a little nervous about what I eat, so I'm like, I'll just have a salad. So it's a lot more salads, a lot more fruit. But even the fruit, I'm nervous about because we know what they do to the fruit to keep the fruit this big or this plumped or this lasting. I have to give you a story. I would buy there's carts outside. There are carts almost everywhere, and there's a fruit cart. On the fruit cart, they cut the watermelon up, they cut the pineapple, they like clean it, cut it, and they give it to you in a little bag. And I would buy, say, on a Monday, and try to have it for the Wednesday, and it would go bad. And so I asked my coworkers. I said, I want to buy the fruit, and I put it in the refrigerator. And she goes, "Don't do that." I said, "What?" She said, "When you buy the fruit, you eat the fruit. You want watermelon today? You eat the watermelon today. It's not made to be in that refrigerator. It's not made for that." So I was like, okay. So when you want the fruit, you buy the fruit and you eat the fruit. Okay. There is nothing in it to make it last. They cut it for you to eat it right then. I said, okay, I get it now. So whenever I want fruit, I go and get it on the day that I want it and I eat it on the day. It can last one day, but it's not for storage. It's not for they don't put things in the refrigerator like that. Not at all. So it's definitely had me think about what I eat at home, just to get back to your question, and think about um, what foods make sense for me and and my stomach and my belly and my life. What's going to be really good for me, and what should I stay the hell away from?
Right. And
Yeah,
that is just like such a
that's
good point. That's how food should be anyway, is like it should just be consumed when you get the food. But like you said, there is this thought of just this shelf life and having things forever in cupboards and
yeah,
refrigerators. So I'm glad that you're learning and doing the thing. I actually had that conversation too here in the US where I'm like, I don't just like things sitting in the fridge all the time. If I bought
right,
it, we cooking it now. Like, what are we
right.
waiting on? So
I don't know.
that's good. What was it like to spend so much time in Thailand and then return to the US?
You know what? I was super happy to see my family. I was like, I could not wait to. just get a real hug. I see them. First of all, thank God for FaceTime and WhatsApp video, because I talk to them at the top of the day and at the end of the day, every single day. I get to speak to my family every day. So I feel like I know what's going on. If they're cooking or doing whatever, they bring me into the kitchen. Mom, how do I do this? How do I do that? So I feel like connected, but there's nothing like a good old hug and snuggle and all of that. But getting on that plane and knowing that I was going to be back to that, and you get immediately, there's that hustle. You're like, whoa, everybody's moving fast. Everybody is like, let's go, let's go, let's go. And I also hit the ground running. I had 12,000 people to see, which was not a good idea. And you fall into a little bit of a hustle, even though you know that that's not good for you. It's not good for your mind, your body, or your spirit. And I was, I hate to say it, I was happy to leave too. I was like, bye, I'm good on this. I am good on the weather. I am good on the shenanigans. Even the, like, being in the, oh God, with the Uber, just being in Ubers and the way the people drive and all the honk. And it's like, it's crazy traffic out here, but they don't really get on with the honking. Not in Thailand. Now in Vietnam, they honk every 2 seconds. But in Thailand, you just sitting in the traffic. You just, okay, we gonna wait. Okay, we gonna wait. So all that road rage, I'm gonna give a shout out to my daughter, who I've been telling to bring down the road rage, okay? Because I was like, it's not necessary to behave like that out in the street. And you come from a culture here that is so reverence to each other. You say good morning, you bow. You say hello, you bow. Everything is like, hi, how are you? There's like, I see you, slow down. And then you come back to like the crazy of the US. I was like, whoo, people being loud, cussing and arguing on the train, just all the stuff that you're like, oh God, America, and maybe I shouldn't say America, but the behaviors that you see in the US are not, the train is so quiet here. It's like, there's nothing, you get on the train, it's like, clean and quiet. Everybody's head is down, looking at their phone. There's no, even just, there's a foreigner when people are talking loud. You already know, because you can tell. So coming back to the States was a little bit of a readjustment. And I found myself standing back and observing, almost like out of body at times, how people interact with each other. And there's not always kindness in how they get on with each other. There's always this, but then I also was home during the holiday season, so you know how that is. Folks pushing and pulling and having to get and running out of time, and just it was a lot of like flurry, but not in a healthy way. Yeah, not so good.
Yeah, understandable. I'm glad that you are back and you get to be in a calm, relaxing space. Everybody deserves that. Everybody deserves to have a break. How did you adjust back to the time difference once you returned?
Oh my gosh. Oh man. It's hard. I don't even know what to say. I was middle of the day. I'd be like, okay, I'm up, I'm going. And then I'd be like, I'm sleepy. I gotta go lay down. I was like, I gotta go lay down. I was so confused when I landed back here in Thailand. I actually thought I flew in and it was Friday, because it takes like 2 days, but it's not really 2 days because of the time difference. So I left on a Wednesday and got here on a Friday. And then I went to sleep and it was still Friday. And so when I woke up the next day, I was like, why is it not Saturday? They were like, because it was just Friday. Like you went to sleep on Friday. I was so, when I tell you confused, I was like, oh. And for days I was like, what day is it? I could not catch the day. And when I came back, I actually had to go back to work immediately because we had a recruitment fair on the Saturday and the Sunday. So I thought I was coming back, going straight to work. And I had a whole day to like rest, thank God. Because I was confuzzled for like 2 days, but actually for like 3 days, And then when I went to the States, I just slept. your body just says go to sleep, and you just I couldn't do anything but sleep. So the time difference, I don't even know what to tell people. I don't know if you should, when you land, you're supposed to stay up. I don't know any of that rule. If it's daytime, pretend it's daytime. If it's nighttime, go to sleep. All I'm going to tell you is your body's going to be like this and like that, and you're just going to eventually catch up with itself. I don't even know what to say. It just is.
No
Messy.
worries. That's understandable.
It's messy. It's messy with the time. Being 12 hours ahead is a strange thing because my what time is it? It's 8:20. Whatever time it is. It's the same time, but it's nighttime the day before.
Mm,
So you're a day ahead, but it still feels like, and then when they wake up, they're still on the same day that you are, but now it's your evening.
yeah.
So it's so crazy. It's so crazy.
Yeah, I completely understand what you mean. I had a trip from India back to the US, and
Ooh.
I celebrated New Year's 2 times. We celebrated New Year's in India, and then when we got back to the US, it was New Year's again. I was like, "Whoa," because like what
Whoa.
you're saying, like you're a
Yes.
day ahead and then you go somewhere. It's the same thing. Very, very confusing, but you're really handling it. I mean, even for us to decide what time we were meeting, you're like, "Listen, this is your time. This is my time. Does that make sense?" So
Yeah.
you're doing great. You're doing great. Maybe that's a piece too, is like clarifying what time it is for that person,
Oh
clarifying what
my
time it is
God.
for you can be helpful. But yeah, you just got to do what the body wants you to do for sure. Yeah.
Listen, the body's gonna do what it wants to do. It's gonna go to sleep. Because you'll be fully awake, but your whole body is like, I'm sleeping. People are talking, but I nothing is processing. I am asleep. It's okay. And you just have to say it out loud. I told everybody, I was like, I'm still having jet lag. So do not ask me to respond quickly because I'm still trying to figure out what time is it.
Yeah.
It's all good. It's
Okay.
all good.
That's all good. Have you had any visitors in Thailand? And if so, what did you all do?
Oh, yes. Actually, while I was away, I had Dr. Crystal from Sabbatical Life. She came and she visited with me. And then I left and she stayed in my condo. And then when I got back, she was still here. And so we just did some local stuff. We went out to, go out to dinner, and we went out, do a little mall shopping. Not no major mall shopping, but just to go. The malls here are amazing. They're beautiful and they're community based. So people go there to eat and have a meal and to just be out. So we did some of that. Let's see what else. We went to a brunch. We went to an RB brunch, and that was lovely. We went to a jazz club and listened to some music, which is lovely. There are lots of artists and residents all throughout Thailand, all throughout Bangkok. And so you might, if you like jazz, you'll find that. We had some Latin music I went to. And that sister's from Cuba. She lives here and she does different venues. So yeah, we just went out and had a little good time. Yeah. I
That's
also, you know what else I did that I thought was really cool that I know sometimes people would like, poo poo on. I did a boat tour of like the main river, and it highlights some of the temples that are here. And that's I would say, very touristy thing, but it was a really nice boat tour. And I would do that again. Like, whoever else is coming, we're going to go on the boat tour again because it was lovely. It had a little cultural um, uh, show on it, and you have Thai food, and you go down the Chao Phraya River, and you see the temples. It was nice. I will do that again, maybe two more times too, just to really understand. So it was nice.
that's
Yeah.
wonderful. And what are your plans for the next 6 months in Thailand?
Oh
To-do
God,
list.
what's on my to-do list? Well, I have lots of people who say they are coming. I have friends coming in February. My girlfriend and her mom are coming. And so, although I still have to work, I will be hitting some of the tourist spots because what you don't realize is when you move to a place, maybe the first 2 weeks you're living like a tourist. You're going here, you're going there, but then you settle into like real world. Like every day, I gotta do laundry. I gotta get dinner. I gotta get my clothes cleaned. I gotta go to the nail place. And so you don't visit. And so I'm gonna visit some of the temples. I haven't been to the Grand Palace. I'm gonna do some of those things because I have friends coming and they'll want to go. I'm going to go to some of the parks. I also don't have a lot of time to just be lounging at the parks, and so there's some beautiful parks. They have new walking paths and bike paths, and so I'm going to do a few of those things, and we'll be eating out a little bit more. I do eat out, but when you eat out alone, it's not the same. I go to a food court, I grab some food. It's not the same as like going to a few restaurants to try out a few places. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna be living, but I'm gonna live a little bit through a tourist eye, something I haven't done. And we're gonna celebrate Chinese New Year. And so I'm excited about potentially going to our Chinatown. I know it's gonna be crazy packed, but there's a large Chinese community in Thailand. And so it's a big thing. So I'm excited about that. You know, just the
That
regular
sounds
old stuff.
Yeah, congrats on having more visitors to go out there and see you. That sounds fantastic. And since you've mentioned Lunar New Year, since you've mentioned Vietnam, you've mentioned Malaysia in our time, have you been visiting other places outside of Thailand while you've been there? And what has your experience been with those places?
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna laugh and give you this laugh. I had a baller move. I have a friend who lived in Malaysia who was retiring. He said, "Well, just come for the weekend. I'm having a party." I said, "Okay, let me give me a little ticket because it's only $112 to fly to Malaysia." So I was like, "Sure, I'll come, stay for 2 days, go to the party, and fly on back." I was like, baller moment because you can't normally do that. And literally, I think I bought the ticket on the Wednesday and flew on the Saturday. Like that's how crazy it was. So I've done that, and they lived in Kuala Lumpur, which is you can literally fly and then take the train into the center of the city. Stayed at a hotel that was in the center of the city. They have an Aloft there. They have a Marriott there. Took the Grab to the party, 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 party. Next day, had brunch, had a massage, and flew home. And that was that. It was great. I loved it. I loved it. And you can do that because there are all these little smaller uh, Asian airlines that are relatively reasonable where you can do these little hops. Malaysia is 2 hours away. Hanoi, Vietnam is 2 hours away. Da Nang is 2 hours away. And so you can fly there for relatively reasonable, maybe under $150. Um, Go get, and the hotels are also reasonable. You can get $50 a night hotel, decent. I'm not saying like trash, like decent places where you don't mind sleeping, um, and have a nice weekend. So you can have a nice weekend for under $300 easy. So I've done that, and I've gone to Hanoi because I have schools in Hanoi. And maybe what I do is I go for the school for maybe 2, 3 days, and then I have one day that I will spend just exploring for myself. I could have 2 days, but I like to get home and have my Sundays at home. So if I go like a Wednesday to Friday, I'll stay all day and then leave on Sunday morning, get back. And it's been nice to just explore. It would be nicer to have people to explore with. Sometimes I'm on my own. I'm doing solo travel in that way, but I'm still, I would say, exploring. And when people to come, I'll know where to bring them. Yeah, it's good.
Fantastic. Do you plan on traveling or seeing other countries while you're there for your last 6 months, or do you want to spend
Yeah,
most
I mean, I would like to go to Bali because it's close enough. I think it's 2.5, 3 hours. And I also would like to go to Cambodia. I know there's some skirmish on the border, so clearly you can't go. The border between Cambodia and Thailand, there's been all kinds of fighting all the time. And so people are like, you can't go there. But I do have friends who have traveled to Cambodia, the main central city, and they have loved it. And they have said, you need to go, you need to visit. And so I'm interested in going. I don't want to go alone. I'll wait till my husband's here and maybe we can take that trip together. And then there are other places off of like the islands of Malaysia that I'm really interested in. They're these little, I'm not explaining it. They're little islands that you can just go and spend a day just really enjoying enjoying the beach, enjoying the water. So I'm hoping to do that. I have a dream of maybe next year going to the Australian Open. So I'm gonna say that out loud so I can figure out how to make that happen because I technically should be working. But I might want to take a week off and go to Australian Open because it's 5 hours away, and I'm like,
Mhm.
I need to do that. Yeah, and then
Love
spending some time in Hong Kong. So those, you know, if you're here, you might as well do it.
Absolutely, absolutely. That sounds so fun, Dr. Davia. So excited for you and the rest of your time in Thailand. It has been so nice to have you grace our channel again and tell us about all of the things. So the last question I just have for you is there anything that you wanted to leave our audience with? Anything at all that you wanted to tell us, recommendations, how things are going, any final lessons, anything we didn't talk about that you just wanted to mention? You have some intense fans out there. I mean, the live that I did with you is one of the most popular lives,
Is
one
it?
viewed. Yeah, this is not a lie. You can go and check it for yourself. It is one
That's
of the
me.
most viewed lives that I have. You got a strong fan base. So if you
Wow.
have anything to tell your fan base, what would you want to tell them?
Well, one, thank you. Thank you for following. You have to take risk. You have to be okay with taking a risk and know that what's the worst that could happen? You don't like it and you go back. You're like, you know what I mean? It's like, so I do a year and I go, it was an experience. I loved it. I got to see all these things, but it's not for me. I'll go home. That's not going to be my story. But you have to take risks and you have to be willing to say, I'm not going to lose a thing other than time, right? By going and trying. And what might I gain by going and trying, right? Look at all of the things that you learn about yourself and about what you can do. And so I think travel is the best thing that you can do for yourself to grow, to be quite honest. I think it's a way to really just expand your own understanding of the world and realize that we're just one small cog in this big old universe. And God's got a bigger plan for all of us. And so just take a step on faith, step out there, and all kinds of things will come to you in a positive way. The second thing I would say is do not believe everything you see on TV, right? And what you see in those YouTube feeds. You have to come and experience a place. If people say, "Oh, girl, it's not safe there," it is so safe here. It is so much safer here than where you all are. That's all I'm gonna say about that. That's all I'm gonna say. Don't believe whatever the hype is. Go visit a place. Go visit a place and see for yourself. And if you don't have your passport, get your passport. I don't know what you're doing, but get your passport in rotation. Get out. Save your money. Stop buying clothes, bags. Stop buying all that crap. Invest and get you a trip. Get you an experience because that is the best way to spend that money. And you don't need a lot. You're not staying at the Ritz Carlton, but you can stay at there's some really good clean places. And just come. Just get outside of your own comfort zone and push through. That's what I would say.
That is beautiful. That is a wonderful wrap up. Love that. Don't you all forget to follow Dr. Davia
Oh
on
yeah.
Not All of the Things.
Yeah.
And Dr. Davia has told me that she's interested in making a reflection on her page as well, your
Yeah.
6 month reflection on Thailand. So you can get
Yes.
some additional information. We can learn some new things
Yes.
about what you're talking about on your channel too.
Yes. Oh, yes, please come on over. I am trying to grow my subscription and I'm hoping to get to 500 subscribers by June. That's the goal that I've set for myself. And so I'm not as consistent as I used to be, but I am trying to do my lives on Wednesday, somewhere between 7 and 7:30 or 7:30. Partly because it's 7:30 in the morning for me, and then I have to go to work. So
Yeah,
I like Wednesday because I like the middle of the week, breaking up the middle of the week. So come on over, come in, spend time with me, and I am going to talk about what I've learned in my 6 months. A little bit different from what I talked about, but maybe just the top 5 things that I've learned that can help someone else in their travels. I'm happy to have you folks come on over.
absolutely. We would love to be there. And if it's not too much work, we love your videos and your pictures that
Oh
you
yes, I always
post.
stick those in.
Yeah, like we can, it feels like almost like we were there with you. So thank you
Yes.
for that. Dr. Davia, it's been a pleasure. We love the time that we've spent together. Congrats, congrats, congrats. And may the next 6 months be just so wonderful to you as the previous 6 months have been.
Thank you, Dr. Maya. I'm looking forward to seeing you in Southeast Asia. So I'm putting that out there. I'm putting that out there. It could be in 6 months or it could be in 12 months. But I'm looking forward to hearing you say, you know what? I'm gonna be in Europe. I'm gonna be in that way. So that's it. I know you're trying to make other moves, but
Oh
I'm gonna
my
just put that out
gosh.
in these YouTube streets.
Dr. Davia, just know that you have left at a good time because the rest of us are just trying to just leave if we could just do that. So I can't even make any additional
I know,
promises.
I know,
Like
I know that's right. I know that's right. You trying to get to the first step. Let's get about.
step one, but you know, if I could, I would be there. I mean,
I
yeah.
know. I
So
know. Thank you
we'll
so much for
see
having me.
what happens. Of course, it was my pleasure to have you. We're so happy that you were here on the channel. And all of you out there, don't forget to follow Dr. Davia. Please subscribe, 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 like, and watch Dr. Davia's content. Fantastic work that Dr. Davia has done to really talk about Southeast Asia and her experiences. So definitely want to check that out.
Yeah.
Okay, with that, Dr. Davia, I'm going to go ahead and end this. Thank you all for watching, and we
You.
will see you next time.